Hello and welcome to this mid-morning taste challenge. I have two 40% alcohol single malt Scotch whiskeys. This is Glencullen, introduced in 2016, so 9 years ago. It's aged 10 years, Speyside, 10-year aged. It's bottled in Kentucky, so it's sent to Kentucky and bottled there by County Line Distillers. Fresh, clean, and aromatic on the nose with heather, honey, and vanilla top notes. Medium body with malt and cereal sweetness. I'll go along with that. Citrus, zesty hints of in a long barley-laden finish. There is an actual place called the Glencullen. They're showing a photo of it. I'm not going to wait for it to focus, but it's black and white photo. Probably got it from National Geographic magazine. I mean, these Scotch whiskeys do that. They'll find some Scottish, geographical area, and they'll name it after that, but it might not have anything to do with the product. Okay, Glencullen trademark. 10-year is a world-class Speyside Scotch crafted with the finest single malt and matured in select oak cask. Okay, 2021, it says right here. Bottled 2021. World class for $20.99 at Albertsons. Not too sure about that, but that's what they claim. And if you go there to Albertsons today, they may not even have it in stock, but if they do, it's probably more like $25, which is still super cheap for single malt. There's a real cork. Not trying to focus too well. I read reviews on distiller.com. They weren't too keen on it, and I haven't exactly been thrilled with it. I was looking at trademark data. It said the trademark is owned by the Sazerac company. Buffalo Trace. But the bottle says County Line Distillers. But yeah, right, you got it. County Line Distillers is owned by the Sazerac company. So they're still out there buying up everybody. Now, this Trader Joe's was established in 1967. I don't think they had whiskey back then, but they might have. I could be totally wrong. This might have been on the shelf in 1967. But I seriously doubt it. This is Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. It's aged in ex-bourbon barrels and then finished in ex-rum casks. No age statements from Hammish Robertson for Trader Joe's. Now, Hammish Robertson does not have a distillery. They have an office somewhere in Scotland, actually in Lancashire, Scotland. They're not a distillery. Hammish Robertson is what's called in Scotland an independent bottler. They don't produce anything. They just bottle it. They make agreements with distilleries, and they bottle it and put different names on it. Or in this case, Trader Joe's. They have similar companies in the United States, which do this. They do the same thing. They get whiskey produced by somebody, or it could be rum, brandy, whatever. It doesn't matter, whatever, or beer. And they put it under a label. And if you go to their headquarters, it's not a brewery or a distillery, it's an office. And those are called independent bottlers. I think in the United States, they use terms more like a private, what would they call that here? I don't know what they call it here. A whiskey broker, a private label company, contract distiller. Well, the contract distiller is actually the distiller that does the contract. So I go to liquor stores all the time and I'll look at these bourbons. You know, those are the most glaring examples. I'll look at a bourbon. It'll say Reno, Nevada. But then if you look carefully, it says product of Indiana. So it's made in Indiana, usually Lawrenceburg, always Lawrenceburg, but bottled for this so-called liquor company in Reno, Nevada. You know what I mean? It's an old, I wouldn't call it a trick, but you're never going to win in court. You can't say you got tricked because it might say straight bourbon. Okay, it's bottled in Iowa. It's bottled in Indiana. The judge is going to say, did you look at the label? And you say, well, I'm busy. I got stuff to do. I don't have time. Well, okay. Time out. Nothing stopped you from looking at the label. So case dismissed with prejudice. Now, one of these is a lot darker. This one here is a lot darker. I poured a little bit too much. This one is probably the Trader Joe's. This is probably the Glencullen. Now, my experience with Glencullen is it kind of smelled and tastes like Cheerios, but I know it's not made with oats. But I wasn't in love with it. I mean, I'm glad I only paid $20.99. Let's see. There's no website listing for either one of these, but you might find it on the Albertsons or Safeway or Vaughn's, because Albertsons owns seem like dozens of grocery store chains. Let's see. Glencullen Scotch. Safeway. Yep, that's owned by Albertsons. Jewel Osco. Pavilions. I mean, yeah, I think it's a deal that Sazerac made with them to provide it, but it's on distiller.com. Let's see. Glencullen 10-year, $25.99. Ooh, I paid $5 less. Glad I hit it when I did. That was about 5 years ago. Let's go with the, during the scamdemic. Let's go with the screen share. There it is, Safeway. Some town. I don't know what town that's in. Age 10 years, fresh, clean, and aromatic on the nose. Why is this thing processing? The heather and honey. The heather and vanilla top notes. Medium bodied. Cereal sweetness, citrus zesty hints, and a long barley laden finish. Glencullen is a world-class Speyside Scotch. That's a total joke. There is no way there's going to be a Scotch whiskey, and I paid $20.99 when they had it on sale. There's a blow up of it. You can see it. It's not really rare. Crafted in the finest single malt matured and select. Okay, there's no way you're going to buy a world single malt Scotch for $25.99. I don't know what these people are talking about. I don't know what kind of joke Safeway is trying to pull on people, but if they said something like, you know, it's all right. Pavilions. I think that's owned by Albertsons. We're going to have the same format. Watch, the page is going to be exactly the same. Yep. Except it's Pavilion. It's going to be the same format. Look, same. It pops up. It's going to have the same sell sheet. Age 10 years, aromatic, world class, $1 cheaper. So it will depend. Now it will depend store which of the Albertsons chain U2. Now around here it's Albertsons, the actual Albertsons. Oh, Santa Monica Boulevard. That must be in Los Angeles. It's really not a bad price. $18.99 clamor for a handle. That's actually a very good price. Good price. Glenfiddich for $2.21. That's an exceptional price. I might have to go to California here. Okay. Vaughn. Yep. Jewel Osco. Yep. So the price is going to vary $2 or $3. The worst case, $3, but most likely, the Sons. Like I say, same write-up, because it's the same company, and they might own 12 different grocery chains, maybe more, probably more. It's getting a very high score, though, but only 5 reviews. I don't know what the code is. 83713. I'm not familiar with it. I know 704 is like 37 miles away. Let's see what they say in Hammond, Louisiana. All right. Louisiana is the king. $22.99. That's $2 more than I paid. Now, there's your deal. $22.99 in stock today. Still doesn't make it good, though. J&B, the big handle, glass, not plastic. $3.99 for a handle. Oh, that's actually a good price. That's actually, if I was in Hammond today, oh, look at this strange thing that they're saying. Vegetarian, no high fructose corn syrup. Why would it have high fructose corn syrup? Vegan and pescatarian. Great. There's a legendary product. That's a huge bottle. It lasts many months. If that only lasts a month, that's telling me you might have a drinking issue. Royal Warrant, yeah. Official Royal Whiskey of Great Britain. $43.99. Okay, enough of that. So, do I think I'll confuse the two, Speyside and Highland? Well, Speyside and Highland, I find, can be confusing. Damn, slipped off the counter. Which one is that? Oh, that's the Glencullen. Well, got a little mess to clean up. I was so busy worrying about the doggone. I was so busy worrying about the stores that when I set it down, I didn't pay attention to where I was setting it. Oh, golly. My pants are going to smell like whiskey. That's all right, because I will come up with a reason for that, an alibi. Okay. Oh, man. I'm trying to nurse these along, but I don't mind wasting Glencullen because I'm not too impressed with it. Still, I'm trying to nurse them along. I'll tell you one thing, you do enough of these taste challenges, you're going to have some mishaps. We'll have some mishaps. Okay, let me double check that. Glencullen. Yeah. somebody might say to me, what have you been drinking a lot of whiskey? And I say, actually, I've been spilling it. I'd rather be drinking it. I'm not trying to throw money away. And that was disgusting because I paid, I work, I have a job. Oh, man. You never know. I'll tell you what, you just never know. Okay. Funny thing about it, it's not the first time. Let me clean that up. It's not the first time this happened. But I hope it's the last time. I hope it's the last time. All right. Doubt it. Try it again. All right. Getting ready to go to work. Don't spill whiskey on your clothes because I don't think that would necessarily help with your prospects of long-term employment. You get my drift. Okay. Heard about somebody at work today. Don't know if the story's true. You know, these stories get convoluted. They were saying he quit because I knew he quit. They say he quit because he got caught with drugs and supposedly he knew he was going to get fired and so he just resigned. But I don't know. People say stupid things all the time or in things that are in error. Although his personality was a little different, and you kind of got the impression that he probably was maybe a illicit drug enthusiast, aficionado, let's call it. But he was always friendly to me, so I can't really say anything, and I'm not going to say anything. Okay, so getting past that little mishap, I just set the thing down and it fell. Oh man! But moving beyond that. Yeah, it just smells like bread crust. I mean, we all know what bread crust smells like. We should know white bread. Just say white bread. Yeah, it's all right, but it's not in any way remarkable. It's just standard. So they talking about world class. Yeah, sure, world class. But boy, I sure hate to just waste that little bit of it. Yeah, kind of bite. That's full in the nose. That's spicy in the nose. Bready and spicy. That's got to be the Glencullen because I don't recall the Trader Joe's having that spicy, like would make you jump back. Let's double check. You see, that's got that weird caramel, golden raisin, caramel candy, those rum chocolate candies with the rum in the inside. I don't know if they make those anymore. It's probably outlawed by some do-gooders associated with the government. But they used to make those for years. I remember those. I'm talking about 1974, maybe 51 years ago. Maybe the last time I saw them, maybe it's probably like 1978, the last time I saw them, but it seemed longer than that, But yeah, I think even with the traumatizing experience of spilling it, I still think that this is the Trader Joe's because it has a more wanky, weird, oddball aroma. Not a bad aroma. I'm starting to realize not a bad aroma. Herbie in India says hi. Hello to you, Herbie. You missed me spilling the whiskey on my clothes. You can watch the replay. Not much to see, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, this has got to be the Trader Joe's. I got it. It's just a strange product. By golly, it's weird. Let's go with the taste. Cheers. Should Scotch whiskey taste like golden raisins, caramel candy, and rum-filled chocolate box candies? I don't think it should. But then I don't think that's a long ago practice of finishing Scotch single malt in rum casks. I think it's kind of a new thing because of the competition in the world today among whiskey producers. So you can call it a gimmick. I would agree with that. I mean, I don't care. I bought it. I paid the 20. Oh, I paid $17.99. Right, $17.99, $20.99. And if I can avoid spilling it, I'll still have some left for future challenges. I would recommend it if you are open-minded about single malt Scotch. Like if you're real buttoned down, like I said this morning at dawn, before dawn, if you're real buttoned down and persnickety about it, yeah, don't do it. But if you kind of like to try off the wall stuff that's probably in like quasi illicit, like shouldn't even really be made, yeah, go for it. What the heck? It's pretty enjoyable. I wouldn't give it as a gift, but I would just buy it for myself. You know, I'll give somebody something better for a gift like Glenfiddich. Now, the Glencullen, which I did not give a great score to, and which does not get particularly good scores on distiller.com, and which I would not necessarily recommend, but I would give it a mild recommendation, does have some relatively nice qualities relative to this other one. It's got the bread crust, it's got the white bread dough. It's pretty basic. It doesn't have any other kind of like off the wall stuff, which probably is good. I think it would be a sipper. I think people buy single malts for sipping. Why would you buy a single malt and use it in cocktails? Because the tomato juice and the lemon juice and the bitters and the sugar cubes, that's going to mask all the liquor flavor. The Glencullen. Don't spill it on yourself. But I mean, it's I was trying to see how far down it permeated. This is the handkerchief. It feels a little damp, but not too much. I have mixed feelings about this one. I paid $20.99 at the Albertsons, 36 miles from here, 35 miles from here. Now they're showing it for $22.99, which is only $2 more. 5 years later, 4 years later. Well, it has to be 4 years later. It was a 2021 bottling. I would pay the $22.99. I would be reluctant to go higher than that. I'm glad I only paid $20.99. It's okay for a 10-year age, but I think it should be more. There should be more to it. I think it should be better. So I'm going to go with a score of like a 8.4. Good, but with reservations. Hi, Glenlivet 12 lost to Trader Joe's. Oh no, you didn't watch the video? It easily beat Trader Joe's. Easily. I didn't even have to taste it. I smelled it and I was like, got it right. 3 in a row. 3 times in a row now. I've smelled it and I knew which was which. What are you doing, sir? I'm doing a taste challenge. Had to do a little cleanup, spilling it. Now, Trader Joe's. It does have some quality associated with it, but on the other hand, it is not that great. It's strange. You're getting golden raisin, the rum-filled chocolate candies, some weird rumminess. What it is aged in rum barrels or finished in rum barrels. So that needs to be taken into consideration. I don't know. It's just something funny about it. And I don't mean funny like the way you tell a joke. I mean funny like not correct about it. I paid $17.99 for the bottle. I don't regret that. I would not buy it again. Just telling you straight up, being honest, I would not buy it again. I would recommend it for $17.99 or even $18.99. If I saw it above that, I would not buy it. I would not buy it. It's a very marginal single malt Scotch, and that's being kind. It's being kind. I think at this point we're barely making a B. It's coming in around 8.3. I think it's hovering around a B minus. I think by the time I finish this Taste Challenge series, it will be into the B minus. This I do not know, but this is my assumption. Glencullen will never be a world-class whiskey. I don't care what they say on the label. They talk about it's a world-class Speyside. That is a joke, and it's not a funny joke. It's mostly an insult. I think they should not put that on the label. They should say something like it's just give basic facts. It's aged 10 years. It's from Speyside. You don't have to elaborate and say ridiculous things like world class, because that is clearly ridiculous. This wouldn't be world class in any scenario. You think of any scenario on planet Earth involving Scotch whiskey, this would never be world class. Impossible. Does it have a limited enjoyability factor? It has a limited enjoyability factor. I will agree with that. And I think it's coming in at about an 8.4. Good, but never going to be higher than good. And it's never even going to be a B plus, very good. And if I was going to spill one, like I did spill one today, I'd rather waste the Trader Joe's. So the clear and present winner, and it's not hard to tell these apart, is the Glencullen. Good product? Well, in some ways, yes. Mid-range good, 8.4. Be tough to get it higher than that. Be easy to go lower. So you kind of see where I'm going with that. Be very tough to go higher, easy to go lower. So a tenuous 8.4 out of 10. Trader Joe's, it's trending down, down. Giving it an 8.2, B minus, marginally good, and very likely to decline with subsequent tastings, but still in all, $18.99. That's about what you would expect to get. At least on this bottle, they're not claiming it's world class or any kind of ridiculous foolishness like that, as we got with the Glencullen, because it's quite obviously not anywhere. The words Glencullen and world class should not be ever used in the same sentence, unless the sentence was Glencullen is clearly not world class. So no one made me buy it. I bought it. I don't hate it. If I hated it, I'd give it a D minus. or a D or a D plus. What difference would that make? If you're a bad whiskey, you're bad. Either like not so bad, bad, or and really bad, you're still bad. All right, now what's coming up next? Well, I actually have a very, very interesting single malt. And if anybody wants to see what single malt is coming up, I'll show you. If not, we'll move on. I've got a lot of videos I'd like to watch today because I've got hundreds backlog. True story. But I'll show you what single malt I've got coming up next going once. I'll show you which one I have coming up next going twice. And I'll show you what I've got coming up next going. Okay, well, you'll see it hopefully by Thursday morning. Not a real popular one, not one that you typically see around in the stores, but I did stumble across it. Certainly wasn't looking for it, but I got a great deal on it. And it's certainly much higher than the price point that I paid, the price I paid. So that's coming up. So, all right, y'all take care, and we'll see what's coming up. Well, we got Scotch whiskey, single malt for the next week at least. And then we're going into blended Scotch. Now, I already got my bottle out ready to roll. And I'm so curious to try it because I've sat on that bottle for about 2 years now. I've been sitting on it, figuratively. It's been on the shelf, actually, but I'm curious to see how that's going to taste. And I'm really curious to see how many video reviews. I'm afraid it's going to be so many. I'll be 115 years old if I finish watching all the videos. But all right, y'all take care. Bye-bye, everybody.